JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 7th of the 7th, 2020. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this afternoon live session where we're gonna have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts that that I looked at this morning. But as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now then, jumping into a few instruments that I've looked at this morning. So for example, the Shanghai Composite, which I was covering today, and what I was saying that in a way, given that the index found resistance near the 3,407 territory, initially I was looking at a possibility of seeing maybe a doji here. However, as you can see, the index retraced back down and kind of still managed to close the trading session in the green. However, after such a huge gain, it almost wiped out all of its gains made during today's trading session. So basically that kind of makes us a little bit worried. And what I was mentioning this morning as well, that in a way, given that we already had quite a decent rally here to the upside, there could be a possibility of seeing maybe a bit of a correction here to the downside. So for now, let's say if we draw a nice Fibonacci here from the low of the 12th of June here, after it kind of reversed here to the upside, and then we take it to today's high, then we can see that, for example, the 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci is near the highest point of 2019. So very good potential target. Of course, for now, the main focus will be on the 3,336 territory, which I've discussed about previously, basically, and that's basically the high of the 26th of February 2018, and also near the high of March 2018. So basically, a nice good drop below this could increase the chances for this index to kind of correct a little bit lower here towards this area right here, towards the high of the highest point of 2019, which is around the 3,288 territory, and which is also, as I said, near the 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. Of course, like I said, for now, let's keep an eye on this one. Let's see if something like this actually happens, and we'll pick up on this one tomorrow morning. Now, jumping into a few other indices. Now, Dow Jones Industrial Average, yesterday, the index managed to climb higher nicely, and gained quite a decent amount. But today, for example, looking at the cash index, we can see that there is a bit of a correction happening right now towards closer towards the 26,000 mark. Of course, the index, the price still remains above that the psychological 26,000 mark, but only by about 80 points, which for Dow Jones isn't quite a huge amount of points, to be honest. So so that's why for now, yes, the fact that from the technical side, the index managed to break above this downside line taken from the high of the 8th of June, of course, and the fact that it's trading still above all of its EMAs here, yes, kind of gives a bit of hope for more buyers. However, the fact that we are seeing a bit of a correction to the downside right now on the cash index, of course, this is leading to the fact that we will get an opening lower here, but it still would be above all of these EMAs. So because again, for us, as I mentioned before, for us to maybe to consider lower areas, preferably a drop back below this downside line and a drop below this key area of support near the 25,000 mark, yep, could do the trick for more sellers. But again, for now, we are still leaning to the upside, although kind of we are seeing a small kind of correction on the cash index right now. Even if, like I said, even if it drifts a little bit lower, if it gets a hold up somewhere here, somewhere near this 200-day EMA or even this downside line, still it may rebound and push back to the upside. For those who are more on the cautious side, you could just wait probably for a push above the 26,611 territory marked by the high of the 16th of June, and then yep, we could maybe consider some higher levels. Now, Nasdaq 100. Now this one on well, yesterday it created a new all-time high for itself, and it ended up testing. And let me just quickly capture this little jump. Yep. Oh, so. And yep, so the index managed to reach an area near the 10,625 mark, and then kind of retraced back down a little. Looking at the cash index as well right now, we can see that the price is currently balancing near the 10,580 zone. So yep, below yesterday's close. However, like I said, we'll keep a close eye on it, and if we get a clearance of the yesterday's high, then yes, of course, higher levels could be met. This would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, well, the sky's the limit for this one. But if in case this suddenly starts dropping lower and we see a drop below below last week's high, which is roughly around the 10,432.33 mark, approximately around here, if we see a drop below this, then maybe this could lead to some further declines. And but again, those declines could be short-lived, because this move lower could be considered as a temporary correction, because as you can see, we are still trading above this upside support line taken from the low the 21st of April, and any move lower here could be below the 10,432 territory, could be seen, like I said, as a temporary correction. And if it continues to balance above this upside line, then yes, that's exactly what we could consider here, because as you can see here, for example, this upside support line in the around mid-June, it also acted as a nice area of support from which the index reversed sharply to the upside and continued to climb higher. Then similar story happened at the end of June as well, where the index corrected lower, tested this upside line, and then reversed and went for a new all-time high. So that's why in a way, as long as this upside line stays intact, any kind of pullback here, any throwback could be still seen as a temporary correction. Now, jumping into WTI oil. Now, I haven't looked at this one since last week, and basically, to be honest, not much is happening here. The commodity is still kind of, let's say, moving very vaguely and carefully to the upside, I would say, but as you can see, it's struggling with this level here, the 41.61, and together it's struggling with the 200-day EMA as well. So basically, we are waiting for a confirmation break above this area before kind of considering higher levels. So we need to see a nice good push above the 41.61 territory, roughly around here. This would also place the price above the 200-day EMA, and yep, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high. So yep, keep your eyes on that one, guys. In terms of the downside, preferably a drop below the 37.10 zone, somewhere around here, marked by the low of the 25th of June, could do the trick for more sellers, and we could see this one maybe drifting a little bit south here. So, but again, for now we're closer to the 200-day EMA. We're closer to the 41.61 level. Let's wait. Let's see if we can actually see a confirmation break above it. Litecoin quick update here. So together with the other cryptos yesterday, this crypto kind of popped nicely to the upside, broke this downside line taken from the high of the 2nd of June, and yep, today we saw initially a nice pop higher, but as you can see, it's kind of correcting a little bit lower. The good thing here is that it still is trading above this 21-day EMA shown as the yellow line. So in a way, there is still a chance for the bulls kind of to step in somewhere here and then push this one higher. If you're more on the cautious side, wait for a push above the 44.75 territory right here, and then you could consider some higher levels. Now, a nice good push above this 44.75 territory may also help the price to move above the 100 EMA here. Well, hopefully, if it does that also, then yes, higher levels could be met. But again, for now, we'll take a bit of a, let's say, cautiously bullish approach, and we'll keep an eye on the 21-day EMA. If it continues to provide support, then yes, we could see a nice rebound here and a push higher. But again, as I said, for those who are more on the cautious side, you could wait for a push above the 44.75 territory. AUD NZD, jumping into a few pairs. Here the pair is drifting lower. By the way, I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but after it kind of reached this 1.0880 territory in June, in the beginning of June, the pair started drifting lower. It is now, you can see that it is now trading below this downside line here. Let me just put this one on the chart. There we go. So it's trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 2nd of June. And in a way, now it's kind of really testing its key support levels. For example, the pair right now is near its 1.0606 level here. That's, by the way, marked by the low of last week. A nice good drop below this, yep, could of course open the door towards further declines. However, we do have another little kind of possible support area right here, marked by the lowest point of June, and that's near the 1.0582 mark right here. So in a way, in other words, if this gets broken, if the low of last week gets broken, but then it doesn't stop the bears, and the bears kind of push the pair below the lowest point of June, now this is where probably more sellers could be joining in here and sending this pair lower. Now, don't get me wrong, we still have a bunch of obstacles here on the way, for example, like the 200-day EMA, but yeah, if this level here at the lowest point of June gets broken, then yep, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low. We might see maybe the pair stalling somewhere around here, but if it's just a temporary kind of pit stop for the bears, then yep, further declines are possible towards the 1.0484 level here, marked by the low of the 21st of April. In terms of the upside, we would prefer to wait for not only a break of the downside line, but also push above the high of 24th of June, and that's roughly around the 1.0755 level. GBP Aussie, quick update on this one. I haven't looked at this one since last week, and last week basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this little short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 4th of May, and in a way, you can see that the pair is kind of really moving sideways, I would say. I mean, after kind of it found support near this level right here, near the lowest point of June, at around the 1.7868 level, it kind of started pushing higher and broke this downside line, but then it failed to, let's say, overcome the 21-day EMA together with this barrier that I have, the 1.8137, and kind of drifted a little bit lower, but was trading above this downside line. So in a way, kind of this downside line seems to be like acting as a possible trampoline here for this pair, and you can see that today this is working out exactly like that. So the pair is kind of moving away from this upside, this downside line. But again, as I've mentioned before, to get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels, preferably wait for a push at least above the 1.8137 territory here, which, as you can see, acted as a very nice area of resistance, and at the same time we could see the rate getting placed above the 21-day EMA. So that's why be very careful here, and let's wait for that confirmation break. In case this pair doesn't really move higher and starts drifting to the downside again, well, for us to maybe look to start considering lower levels, a break below the 1.7868 area could do the trick, and such a move, such a break here below this level would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and further declines could be possible. A quick update on Euro JPY. I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, and basically the pair, it seems to continue to respect the upside support line taken from the low of the 7th of May, and you can see that the pair is now traveling higher. At least it seems like that. It is trying to make its way back towards these levels, towards the kind of the levels that we saw here in the first half of June. But probably the main obstacle right now to keep an eye on is this 122.11 territory marked by the high of the 16th of June. A nice good pop above this could, yep, open the door towards further acceleration to the upside. Now then we will aim for this level right here. Let me just quickly capture this one. There we go. The 122.87 marked by the highest point of January this year, and then of course, yep, we could consider some higher levels. But again, first of all, let's wait for that confirmation break above the 122.11 territory, and then kind of aim for higher levels. Now, in case of the downside, of course, logically, we need to see at least a break of this upside line, and then in order to kind of get a little bit maybe more comfortable with further declines, a drop below this 120.61 territory marked by the low of the 3rd of July, yep, could do the trick for more sellers. So at the same time, the rate would be placed below the 21-day EMA, and further declines could be possible. And finally, Euro USD. So quick update here. So as you can see, this is what I was talking about basically in my videos, in my previous videos where I was covering this pair, and basically the fact that we've managed to break this downside line here taken from the high of the 10th of June. Yes, that's wonderful, that's great news. However, as you can see, the pair today is kind of failing to move further north, and what I was mentioning this morning, for example, yes, the fact that we managed to break this downside line, that's great, but just for that extra confirmation, we would like to see a push above the 1.1353 level here, which acted as a fantastic area of resistance back here on the 16th of June, also near the 23rd of June, and then yes, we could aim for some higher levels. But until then, you can see that today, for example, some probably buyers could have got caught out here because the pair briefly visited the area below this downside line and kind of got pushed back above it. So basically, whoever had stop losses somewhere here got probably stopped out. So that's why the more comfortable level, probably after a break of which we could aim for some higher levels, would be, or should I say, could be around here near the 1.1353 level. So again, for now, keep your eyes on that one. And in terms of the downside, we're taking a very conservative approach here, and waiting for a drop below the 1.1168 area marked by the low of the 19th of June. And then yes, we could maybe aim for some lower levels, because such a move would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and probably more sellers could be joining in here. So keep your eyes on those two areas. So guys, I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for joining in and watching this one till the end. If you want to catch my video tomorrow morning, as always, my Trader's Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.